Nigrishyamane surapato Nigrishyamane surapato Vishnuna Prabha Vishnuna Vishnuna Prabha Vishnuna Akaro Mahanasi Rodasyo Sarvatodisham Vigriyamani Surapato Vishnuna Prabha Vishnuna
Ahakaro Mahaasi
Ahakaro Mahanasi
Rodasyo
Sarvatodisham
Nigrihямane Surapato Vishnuna Prabha Vishnuna
Akaro Mahanasi Rodasyo Sarvatodisham Nigrihyamane Surapato Vishnuna Prabha Vishnuna Ahakaro Mahanasi Rodasyo Sarvatodisham Nigriyamane Surapato Vishnuna Prabha Vishnuna
Word for word. Translation. Hahakara. A tumultuous roar of lamentation. Maha. Great. Asit. There was. Rodasya. In both lower and upper planetary systems. Sarvata. Everywhere. Disham. All directions. Nigrihyamane. Because of being suppressed. Asurapato. When Bali Maharaj, the king of the demons. Vishnuna. My Lord Vishnu. Prabha Vishnuna. Who is the most powerful everywhere. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When Bali Maharaj was thus arrested by Lord Vishnu, who is the most powerful, there was a great roar of lamentation in all directions through the upper and lower planetary systems of the universe. Please repeat. When Bali Maharaj was thus arrested by Lord Vishnu, who is the most powerful, there was a great roar of lamentation in all directions through the upper and lower planetary systems of the universe. Next verse. Because there is no purpose. O King, the Supreme Person of Godhead, Vamanadev, then spoke to Bali Maharaj, the most liberal and celebrated personality whom he had arrested with the ropes of Varuna. Bali Maharaj had lost all bodily luster, but he was not less fixed in his determination. Purport given by Srila Prabhupada. When one is bereft of all his possessions, he is certainly reduced in bodily luster. But although Bali Maharaj had lost everything, he was fixed in his determination to satisfy Vamana Deva, the supreme person Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, such a person is called Sthita Pragya. A pure devotee is never deviated from the service of the Lord despite all difficulties and impediments offered by the illusory energy. Generally, men who have wealth and opulence are famous, but Bali Maharaj became famous for all time by being deprived of all his possessions. This is the special mercy of the Supreme Personal Godhead toward his devotees. The Lord says, Yashyaham anugrihnami harishya tad dhanam shanami. As the first installment of his special favor, the Lord takes away all the possessions of his devotee. A devotee, however, is never disturbed by such a loss. He continues his service, and the Lord amply rewards him beyond the expectations of any common man. Magyanatimirandasya Yanjanasya Chakshurumritanya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, very dramatic situation. If you feel that, that's very good, because drama is a really deep awakening emotions in us. So why it is so dramatic? Why the upper and lower planetary systems, everywhere we hear this big uproar, this big oh. Why is it? Is a bad things happen or a good things happen? Why they are so loudly speaking? Why they are so loudly speaking, loudly roaring everywhere? And who are these making this big voice? Generally, something happening in the center. There are also everywhere who are listening or watching the screen. That's like a theater. And the actors do something, and when they are really, really good actors, people in general, in public, they are living with them, and they say, oh no, what happened? They killed him. Oh no, yes, fine, very good. So they are living with them. So here, Bali Maharaj is such exalted person that everything happening with him, many other persons are watching him, listening, and following what happened. So what happened here? He was, in this verse we can understand, he was the most liberal and celebrated personality. So he's the topmost one. He's the number one. Bill Gates or something, I don't know in the present age who is the most celebrated. In earlier days, the Beatles, they were really great, celebrated. So everyone, whatever happened with them, everyone knows, hey, what about the people? Where they go, where they give a new program, what is their film, what about new song, whatever. And you were following. And anyway, whatever happened with them, now King Bali Maharaj is in difficulties. Everyone sees it, oh, he is a very honest person, he promised he will give everything, and then he's arrested. Why? How is it possible? And arrested by the most powerful person we cannot do anything against. We cannot rebel. So Nitai did before, I think, all the deities would already enter the lower regions of universe by Vishnu Dutas. So they already have to leave their elevated places, have to leave the demigods, originally it was the demigods' palaces, demigods' upper planetary systems. They gained it by the powerful attack led by Bali Maharaj, and now they are again back to their lower planetary systems place. Maybe they don't like it. I don't know. I was not there. Anyway, but also at the beginning of this chapter, Parikshit Maharaj asked some very special questions because he wanted to know more and more about the nature of the Supreme Personal Godhead, and he heard that these situations which came up, this looks like seemingly the Lord was not really equal to everyone. It's much earlier it was. Yeah, he heard about Bali Maharaj, that he heard that Vamanadev was cheating him. Vamanadev came in a small body like a dove. Yeah, and he was cheating Bali Maharaj. He has just 3 steps. But then he took all the universe because he changed his bodily form. It's some kind of cheating. And then after he cheated Bali Maharaj, he arrested him. Very special deal with some honest person who is just, I'm a king, I'm conquering all the universe, I'm worshipping my Brahmana authorities, and I get power, that's it. What is the problem? We want to see why the Lord agreed with Aditi to do something against one part of his sons. Everyone is the son of God. So, to understand that, and to understand why we are daily studying Srimad Bhagavatam, taking 1 verse or 2 verse maximum, how we can get the best of this one more time, how we can really understand what Prabhupada wanted to attain by this regular service of reading and listening Srimad Bhagavatam. For that, we need to understand a little bit, or always keep in mind, that what is the structure of these morning programs and what is the structure of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, if we see a little bit the Bhagavatam from the distance, we can see that there are different cantos, and also they are all contain some stories, some philosophies, and some different explanations, but if we study them and we understand from the Acharyas, all the cantos have one purpose, which ultimately help us to prepare to accept the Supreme Person of Godhead as our beloved Lord. As our Lord, not just because He is the most powerful, but because He is the most beloved person in our life. But for these, for persons who are turned out from the Supreme Person of Godhead, and who are now covered by illusion, and they are thinking that I am the most important person and everyone should love me, we need a step-by-step process to turn back voluntarily. Voluntarily, because love is voluntary. We cannot, force someone, okay, you love me. Hey, you love me. Come here and embrace me. Come. You see? Oh, he's acting against my understanding of, maybe you love me already. Oh, thank you very much. I have to know it. Thank you. So, love is not what we can force. Love is his voluntary action. And when he understands, oh, I love this person, and what this person wants, he acts. So also, if we really love the Lord, and we understand the Lord, we act for Him. But for that, we have to go step by step. We have to purify our heart. As in the Bhagavatam at the beginning, there's very nice verses, how we purify our heart, how we understanding the Lord, or the Bhagavad Gita also already we know, that when we purify our heart, He will tell us what He asks from our heart. As a Checha Guru, as yesterday we spoke with David. Checha Guru is the God. dictating what he likes, and we follow very nice lifestyle. So the Bhagavatam from distance. First of all, the first canto, I don't want to go deeply, just a few drops. There is a big detailed study how we understand that all the cantos, how they bear together. Everything is, interrelated. Everything is connected with each other, chapters, other verse, other informations. And that's very new for us, because we see the world separately. Because of influence of the ignorance and passion, we see separately. We see things, different things are different. That we have to put together. That's have to understand that the world is like a one whole. We seemingly have parts, but it is like a great organic thing. That's why we start in some point in the universal form to study. So the first canto, we see that we are hearing about the persons who want to listen to Bhagavatam, want to understand the Bhagavatam before he is dying, and want to use that Bhagavatam, this consciousness of Bhagavatam, to get the highest goal what is available for human beings. Parikshit Maharaj. We hear about the qualities of Parikshit Maharaj. What is his quality to be able to listen? Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam was not really explained everywhere in the world, in every moment. It's very special science, very special knowledge. We need to prepare that. So Parikshit Maharaj is an example listener. And then we hear Shukadev Goswami, Shuta Goswami, how they are the perfect teachers, perfect teachers. So the first is Adhikar, how we listen. And that we have to bring here, today's morning, every morning, we have to be prepared. That's Prabhupada generality, that how he build up. You wake up, everyone wakes up sometimes, but you wake up in a special time, you take bath, and then you come to the deities, chant for the glorification of your spiritual master, and you chant for prayers for the Tulasi Devi, and then chant nicely Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then deity greeting, and then Prabhupada, Guru Puja, and then Srimad Bhagavatam. And by that way, if we are really focused on this program, we are prepared. If we just take the morning program partly, it's not necessarily we really prepared for the Bhagavatam, and not necessarily we keep that consciousness for all the service, all the day. Mainly that is the cause of the difficulties of devotees. They are not prepared for the difficulties. Bali Maharaj was prepared for the difficulties, we see. In some other way, not what Prabhupada explained to us. Anyway, so Adhikar. The second canto, this is the sadhana tattva. How to get, what are the methods by we can get liberation or by we can get bhakti. Adhikar. First, sadhana, how to go for the goal. The Bhagavatam already pointing the goal, the pure love. But how to get step by step, that is mostly the second canto. The third canto, sarga, the creation. What is generally the problem with us when we are informed? What is the sadhana? We deviate. We deviate because we have other desires. Other desires, other values. So the first canto shows that everything looks like a value is not really important, not really that, but if it's not connected to the Lord, that was the main declaration in the second canto, but here is the explanation why. So we see all the side, all the creation in the third canto. Of course, there are some stories also. These are also very good, very important. The persons who are in the third canto, they show that materialistic person who don't know that nothing else is important than the worship of the Lord. Who is the main character in the third canto we hear? Someone remembering?
Oh,
No, that's the beginning, but they are the listeners. But who is the example who is not understanding the Bhagavatams? Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha is thinking just money, 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 get power, like that. And also he heard about Vishnu, he just want to kill Vishnu. It's my enemy. He doesn't know that all the creation is in Vishnu, he is also in Vishnu, and Vishnu is in him. He just foolishly following his understanding of this materialistic world. I can conquer it and I can enjoy it. That's the main problem, the main, example of what's happening with us if you don't study Srimad Bhagavatam third canto.
What was the third? Can you repeat what was the third one?
The third canto, Sarga, the creation. I will share all these things later if someone wants to details. The third canto, fourth canto, Visarga, the details of the creation, the details how living entities come into their places, how they behave, what are their consciousness, and mainly here we hear examples who are understanding there is a God, but they are not pure devotees. They all have some other desires. They follow the Dharma, but they have different desires. So the fourth canto helps us how to give up the enjoying desire. Also we are a religious person, but we still want to enjoy all material life, all present situation. And when we give up, what we get? An unmotivated service. So this is the fourth canto's all the examples, goes one after another. Fifth canto, Stana, the planetary systems. But why we hear about the planetary systems? What we hear? Just miles, how far the planets are from here or from there, or what is the structure? No. The Stana means if you follow some dharma, if you have some consciousness, where is your place? Everyone has some very special place according to their consciousness, which is the best for that person, which is the best for getting further and further. So the fifth canto is explaining where and who can fit. As I told at the beginning, everything is relating to each other. So if you are not in your place, that you have immediately you will have some difficulties. Like in a forest. In a forest, there is a very nice place for birds, for wild animals. But if you want to live in the forest like human being, you will have difficulties. You have to always protect. That's why human beings are generally living aside of wild animals. But we are very nicely can cooperate with the cows, with these nice animals. They can help us and we can help them. So just a little example. And the sixth canto is the Poshana, protection. How we are protected where we are in our good place. How the Lord protects every living entity if they accept their position. And that was in the eighth canto a little problem, that some persons who have different qualities, they went to the Sarga, went to the upper planetary system. And they caused disturbance by just presenting themselves there. But that's also details. So the sixth canto, we understand the Poshana, how the protection, and how the devotional service is independent. In sixth canto, we hear about the person who followed his dharma, but he fell down, and the devotional service, which he did previously, protected him to go to the hell. Ajahn, very nice example for that. And then later also we hear different persons who are protected by some way. So that is the main focus of the sixth canto. And the seventh canto, how we get unmotivated devotional service through the bhakti and through the varnashram system. That is two main topics in the seventh canto. Unmotivated devotional service. This is the first when the unmotivated devotional services have an example, Prahlad Maharaj. And the eighth canto, the Manvantara, the Manus. How is everything is in orderly, directed. All the list of the Manus. What is the role of the Manus? Why they are? We don't see them. They understand the nature of all the living entities and they order them to follow some dharma. For you that dharma, for you that dharma, for you that dharma. We hear in the seventh canto the Varnashrama system. They are who are maintaining the Varnashrama system. As the Bhagavad Gita also explaining it. Manu give all the direction to the kings. So, and someone giving the direction have to keep that direction, have to keep it. And all, when there is a distraction, they come again, they come again, they come again, and again they are teaching. So that we will see at the end of the 8th canto, again one full chapter is explaining that how the fish avatar came to re-establish the Dharma, re-establish the knowledge which Manu have to share with his sons and grandsons, and then put down until they reach that place where different persons, human beings, also living. So if we see here in this perspective, the Bhagavatam 8th canto, the story, then we can understand what we pick up. What is the main message from these chapters of the 8th canto? Then we can study why Bali Maharaj could go to the higher planetary system and why Lord Vishnu agreed that he should go down. Also, he's a devotee. Or he's a really elevated person. He could stay there, but because he's the leader, he should go with his, what is his name in English? With his entourage, which is all his
Associates?
Yeah, he's a king, so his subordinates, he has to stay with them. And because they don't understand the situation, he has to go down and he has to lead them down. So he's not like he's just remaining in the upper part of the system, and demons they don't have a leader. So leaders also, they are maybe highly elevated persons. They have to live wherever the subordinates are. That's we spoke with Nochananda Prabhu. That is very very interesting. Very important for the end leader in our society to live with other devotees, to live in their life, not just understand what to do, what not to do, and give orders and work in an office, but live with them, be present. So Bali Maharaj have to go down in one reason because he have to be with his subordinates. They have to live in his nation. Have to live persons whose nature is not to live in the upper planetary system. So, and then we can go a little bit more deeply in the 8th canto. So the 8 cantos, as I mentioned, one of the group of the main persons who are mentioned here, and we are getting more and more information about them, Haribol, Manus. Manus are like I heard this expression. I like it very much because I'm an engineer. So when I learned in the university that how to create powerhouses, how to create different very nice things, cars, for example, I was not learning that. I was an electric engineer, so I learned how to create electricity and how to divide it in a protected way. So we learned many things about the circular energetic flows. How you start to collect some energies, protect them, and you direct them in such a way that they work for you. You get some result by the power. And then we learn it. So, but in a higher level, we have a lot of living entity living in different places, and someone have to understand how to make them cooperate, how to put them together to get one goal, to get a function working. So in a social systems, we hear that so many philosophers and so many politicians are speaking about social systems. What is better, democracy, autocracy, or some monarchy, or something like that? So the Supreme Person understood that's a goal. That's how we have to create a social system. That's Varnashram system. But it's quite, it's quite not complicated. It's a complex system. There is 8 different divisions. 4 for the occupational duties and 4 for social, place, value add, brahmachari, grihastha. It's not easy. 8 parts to put together, to work together. So that you need a social engineer who understand who's have this nature, who have this nature, and they put together and they direct them in such a way that everyone is satisfied, everyone is nourished, and everyone giving something to the main purpose of this whole system, which is helping to everyone liberated. After one lifetime, everyone could be liberated, or at least come closer and closer. And for that, you need a social engineer who put together the different moods, the different nature, and they create a system, laws, regulations, by which if you follow that, you get the best result. Maybe you don't enjoy it, but the result you will enjoy. So then we see some examples like Gajendra, who is almost the first example, who was too much attached to his position, to his material enjoyment, but because he got good education, in the dangerous position when in next life, he could remember what he was learned, and then he could get liberation. And then Ajita, the tortoise avatar of the Lord, how that shows that the Lord is ready to help to each of every living entity. He's ready to help to the demons to get their nectar, their desire to get. He had ready to help to the demigods. And then Mohinamurti, how he's directing people by their illusion, how he's giving illusion, how he's putting them into illusion to get their right position. And the Manus, in the 14th chapter, the duties, it's very interesting for the leaders to study how the Manus are, what are the duties of the Manus, what are the duties of the social engineers, and how to manage affairs properly. And then these conflicts come up with the demigods and the demons, and Kashyapa is like the father of the demigods and father of the demons. And he's confused because one of his wives start to ask something very special, it's not some favor for one part of the family. And for the father to give something good for one son and not take something from the other son to that son is always very hard. So Kashyapa Muni was in conflict how to direct his wife in such a way that she could get a good result from this material motivation. And then Bali Maharaj is coming, who is a successful demonical leader and who is in the line of Prahlad Maharaj. So first of all, he should get the same result as Prahlad Maharaj, because Prahlad Maharaj's blessing is somewhere there. The Lord had to fulfill the desire of Prahlad Maharaj. But also, he has to stay in his position to lead the demonical race to have a higher consciousness. And then Lord Vamanadev, we see the Lord Vamanadev nature, and that's the question. If Lord Vamanadev is really rightful, is really equal to every living entity, that we study here. And then the last chapter is Matsya. In the time of annihilation, how he protects the next generation. So, okay. So that's what when we study a little bit from a distance, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So here we we go back to the purport of Srila Prabhupada, and he's very nicely pointing out. Prabhupada is focusing on pure devotion, and here we explains that also Bali Maharaj seemingly in a big trouble. He was a king, he was a really celebrated person, you know, he's arrested. So he will get the highest benefit. The process also looks like he's in difficulties, looks like he's losing all his wealth, all his fame, but he become more famous than a king who have conquered all the universe. It's a special mercy. Prabhupada explaining it is at the first installment of the Lord's special favor, he takes away all the possessions of the devotee. And that's hard to understand, that's hard to accept, but it's happening. I hope I lost all my possessions because the Lord's favor. I don't have an apartment anymore. I give it to a devotee. I was voluntarily giving it, but already I was afraid that the government will take it because some mistake I made. So it looks like I already will have nothing very soon, so I gave it. And that's it. No, I don't have anything. I have a little money to get from the government, maybe anytime they just stop it. The material world. Anyway, so a devotee never disturbed by such a loss. I wanted to mention that I came here a few days ago and I was wondering how beautiful this place, this castle, and I heard the history that how nourishing, how flourishing was this place. Many devotees was living here, and then something happened and there is almost empty. But I'm sure that the Lord gives His mercy to devotees who are living here again to give for many devotees a place which they can really peacefully practice devotional service. It's just a temporary dawn, and then this place is really for the devotees, devotee families, devotee society to build and grow and show the example how we build a nice Varnashram society in ISKCON. I'm sure that is the place which will be one of the most famous centers in the world. It's worth for it. The Lord Samu protected this beautiful castle, protected the field around, and I'm sure He is ready to give more when we are ready to accept, ready to use it properly. Just we need to have this purity by which we get the proper instructions of the Lord. Purity is the force. If you keep purity, if you keep the pure devotional service here, the Lord will give everything. The Lord will send many nice persons who are interested about something higher, what they see. And the Lord will send them and will take care of them, and they will remain, most of them. And then they become pure devotees, and they will attract more devotees, more persons, and they will grow nice social system. ISKCON, International Society. It's not just international church system, society system. Society means economy, society means culture, many more than just the church. It's very nice to have a deity, it's very nice to worship the deities, but it's one of the 7 purposes of ISKCON. And we need to establish all the 7 which is interrelating, cooperating to each other. And also we have one service, but still by that service we need to serve other services. It's a very nice example when very soon we have a Govardhan Puja. I would like to mention the Govardhan here, who is the best of the devotees. Still, he had difficulties at the beginning when he started his service. How it happened? Do you know the story? How Govardhan here appeared in the spiritual world? Hmm?
From the spiritual world.
In the spiritual world, not from, in. In some times, there is no time. Govardhan here somehow will not present in the spiritual world.
From the heart of Krishna.
Yeah. So, in one point, when Radha and Krishna was enjoying their life with their other devotees, Srimati Radharani approached Krishna and she told him, "My dear Krishna, if you are satisfied with my service and all this mood in this spiritual world, I have one desire. Please fulfill the desire." And Krishna was thinking, yes, of course, but I couldn't imagine what desire I didn't fulfill yet. And Radharani explained, I'm dreaming a place where we have a beautiful, different, varied pastime place, where we can hidden if we want, where we can have many persons to enjoy the different, paraphernalias are always present. I dream in such a place. I don't know what is it. Please find out. Fulfill my desire. And Krishna was sitting down. Krishna meditated, and from his heart, some very special energy came on. From his heart, from his prema, something appeared which was like a fire, but it's not really a fire, but it's like a water. It's not really water. It started to, moving, and one drop of that prema fall down on the spiritual floor of the spiritual world, and he became a nice hill, a little hill with 1,000 peaks and caves and springs and waterfalls and forests, and he became growing. And I was wondering, oh, such a beautiful place, and he became bigger and bigger, and Radharani was watching how nicely developing, and many animals on the hills and on the downs everywhere. Sorry, my English is not following that example. But then what happened? In one point, Govardhan here didn't stop to grow and become more and more big, and somehow he just take every place in the spiritual world. He was happy because he was offering so many nice places, but other devotees were a little bit, in anxiety. Oh, what's happening? Where is my place? Where is all service places? And when Krishna understood, they touched Govardhan his surface and said, "Hey, stop this nonsense. Don't take away other service. Also, you want to serve me very nicely, but you also always have to keep in your mind, other service is also important for me." The same what Lord Ramachandra told, I think, to Hanuman, when he was not taking care of the little animal who was also working very hard. So for Krishna, each of devotees' service is very important. So Krishna's devotees also consider their service is the same importance as the others. And we have to see, if we do some service, don't destroy other service, don't make more difficulty to other service. In this mode, I think everyone will really appreciate other devotees. In this mode, I think we can do all service and also support other service. And that mood will create an amazing mood of cooperation, of symbiosis. It's symbiosis, more just cooperating. It's like we feel the others, what they need, and we provide them. We know a little bit about it. We are devotees, we're doing that. In a kirtan, when we are chanting, we adjust our voice to the leaders. We don't use too many instruments to overload or to overpower what the leaders can sing. That's we have microphone, for example. Because one person's voice for many is not always heard properly. But we have microphone, we have amplifiers, and then everyone had heard properly without too much noise and without too little noise. It's not easy. You know, the Prabhu told, put it a little bit aside. So this adjustment always we have to be ready to do. So that's why I was thinking that mentioning here, because here Prabhupada very nicely explained that how pure devotee is never deviated from the service of the Lord, and this mood helps us to keep in the position which is given to us, in difficulties also, for all lifetime. And then the leaders have much easy way to put together devotees. They are not afraid, oh, he's a very responsive, so that maybe next year he is not here, he disappeared. Like Goshala is starting to develop. What about if the two persons in Goshala saying, oh, it's too difficult, I go to the garden. Then what about the cows? The cows are nice devotees. They used to get, used to have relationship with one person, and then next day someone else goes there. Have difficulties. Maybe they will not give milk. I started to make cows, and I experienced that first you have to have a friendship with that cow, and then she gives the milk. Otherwise, she do the same thing, milk not coming, or you have some kicks with it by his leg. But when someone who is used to take care, someone she recognizes, oh, when he comes, oh, it's very nice. I get some sketching, I get some extra food. Then they are very peacefully allowing to make him down. So that's the mood of cooperation we need. Okay, please share your realizations or give comments or some correction. We have a few minutes left. Yes.
One point in this verse is that the inhabitants of the lower planets, they have a tendency to go to invade the whole universe, and this tendency is still existing. These people are down under the earth. The devatas are on the upper part of the universe. So the desire of Brahma, the devatas, and the desire of Krishna is that these people, they stay in the plates, the humans in the Bhumanda. But you see that these beings, they have some tendency and they have some desire to go on the upper planetary system and to go also to invade Earth. And it was like that at this time. And Vishnu arranged for setting the things like before. But the tendency is still there. And nowadays we have also the same problems. These people, they try to invade here or upper. The tendency is there, and the devatas are aware of that, and they try to restrain them. So we are in between, but we don't realize there is a perpetual war and aggression in between these people from the inferior planets and people from the upper systems here. We are like a cushion in between two warriors, and that makes us a difficult situation. That's what is happening right here now, at this moment now. But we don't. We just see some icebergs, some lights, some gamana going on here and there, and some influence to our leaders that it's being contaminated by these beings. in the sense that we gradually realize, oh, those people are against humanity. They are not against French or American or Chinese. There is a sense growing up that these our leaders are against humanity. And that makes us understand that may be contaminated by these lower beings. Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the measure, the way it is corrupted and the way they are acting, we are suspicious and we are wondering where it comes from originally, the mood. Why some humans would like to destroy other humans on the planetary scale. We can understand on the past war in between this country, this king, this woman, this queen, this, understand? Now it's happening something on a planetary scale. Then we have to understand the bad intention that are going behind, and they are really going really dark, deep.
I remember of Srila Prabhupada's very strong declaration, and it's connected to what is human being, what is humanity. You mentioned that some are trying to destroy humanity. But according to the Vedic scripture, according to Prabhupada, humanity starts as someone following the Varnashram Dharma, which is not an easy, which is, it disappeared. And that's why Srila Prabhupada told, we should establish Varnashram Dharma, otherwise we are not living as human beings. Maybe we are devotees, but still, our daily actions, habits, are not reaching that level of human beings. All human beings should follow these 30 principles that was declared by Narada Muni. And later also this explanation that there are different levels of consciousness, but lower than one level, we are not acting as human beings. So at the present situation, where is Varnashram Dharma established? There is humanity. If we are living in the temple, we are pure devotees, still we cannot show the example of human society. So that's devotees need to understand and need to establish. Also, maybe they don't need to protect their devotion. Maybe they need, maybe not. Some says that in conditioned level of devotion service, we need also some protection. We need to accept the service according to our nature to be able to do it long term. And we need to accept different ashrams like brahmachari, grihastha ashram, and follow that dharma for a grihastha, for a brahmachari, for a vanaprastha, for a sannyasi. If we don't do that, it's critical for our devotional service, most of us who are not really established pure devotional service, pure devotional service, and also we cannot show the example, we cannot spread it for pious persons who are ready to follow the good example. So I think that's the sign to really take seriously Prabhupada's desire. Please establish Varnashram Dharma. This way, that way, it's not easy. He told it again, not easy, but he to establish bhakti was not easy for him. So Varnashram is not that easy, otherwise he would do it. But it seems to me that the next generation's duty to work out how to establish Varnashram Dharma and keep pure devotional service also parallelly. Preaching, book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, and parallelly educating devotees to take part of Varnashrama Dharma, accepting their nature in the society. Inside, we could follow the pure devotional service, and outside we follow Varnashrama Dharma. We show the example. Also, maybe we are pure devotees in heart. So that's my reflection for you. And for your comment. It's okay? You like it, not like, or anything? Thank you very much. Someone else? I think everyone's satisfied. Thank you very much for today. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Jai.
Shri Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Nitai Gaura Pamanandi.
Hari Bol. His grace Nitai Prabhu ki.
Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam pavanti